Phillip Lanos, and today we have joining us Danelle Delgado. Now, from what I gather here, she's a single mom of three, survivor who went broke and broken. She went from there to millionaire, making a global impact in just a few years. She's known as the Millionaire Maker, guiding the masses to build $1 million businesses online and off. She's a best selling author of the book I Choose Joy and one of the most sought after female speakers on sales, marketing, online business strategy, communication, and personal development in the world. Danelle, so you sound a lot cooler than I do, especially with a moniker like Millionaire Maker. Can you explain this?
Yeah. It's funny. The first time they called me that, I was being introduced to speak on a stage, and I immediately had this rush of anxiety going, is that true? Did they make that up? Do I do? And then I was thinking, and I go, have I done? I have done that. I've done that here. I've done this name. And I started thinking about all the lives that I got to impact. And I was like, what a gift. And it empowered me to go out there and do it more. And I was like, man, it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with what we get to do in the world. And so that name means a lot to me. It's one thing to get out, it's another to pull others out.
It sounds like you've been so busy that it took you a second to realize the amount of achievements that you've piled on.
Yeah, 100%. I think sometimes when trauma hits or drama, the best way to get through it is head down, feet forward, and sometimes you forget to look up and go, holy cow, it gets to be me, you know?
I hear the words I choose joy, and I think of what I read here where you were broken, and it tells me just off first impressions that there was a moment in the hero's journey, right, where you had to make a decision. And and I want to know more about that if you're willing to open up.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I think every little girl has those incredible dreams of I'm going to make this list and check it off and it's going to be amazing and I'm going to be married and have the kids and the house and the dog and the life and the vacation, We dream all these amazing dreams and one decision can change all of that. And in a moment I went from this joy tornado to completely angry and broken and just alone. And I think that was the moment where I learned that it's not circumstance that gives you joy, it's what's on the inside. And I had to start a new journey to finding joy alone rather than finding it in what I achieved or did. And it was from the worst spot in my life to writing down gratitude every single day for life, breath, health, myself, what I could do that day. And it broke it down to the simplest form of existence that I learned that the only thing to choose, like the life happens for us. I would never be titled this, have made a difference in the world if I hadn't have been broken down to my most substantial failure. And it was the day that I learned joy is a choice every single day. And the pain, you become more when you can choose it in the pain. It's easy to choose joy when things are great, but in the pains where you really learn what you're made of. And that's where I decided whatever life throws at me, it's going to be my gift and it's how I use it.
Wow. You hear this time and again about how life happens to you, for you, not to you. And we hear these things and we see success stories like yourself, and somehow something happens and we forget all about that and we get caught up in our. And now, is that what I because I haven't read the book, I'll be honest. But I imagine, is that what you cover, sort of a reprogramming of who you are?
Yeah, it's actually a full on journal. There's one thing for me to tell people about my story and it to inspire them from the stage, but it's about the work that we do as humans. So it has checkpoints for people to hold them accountable. So I'm like their virtual accountability partner, and it teaches people how to choose joy by writing it down every single day, reprogramming, focusing on a couple of goals, and I tell them exactly how to do that and learning every single day. Because if you're putting good stuff in, it's drowning out the bad. If you're training it to see abundance and opportunity, you see it. And if you're focused on moving forward, you start looking back. And so it was the three patterns that made me stop crying and start winning, I guess you could say.
Stop crying and start winning. That was the second book you wrote. No.
Right? Right, to be continued.
No. So okay. So is this the same process you use to make millionaires? Is this internal shift?
100%. 100%. It starts with building someone's foundation. I think most people try to build businesses on top of their destruction rather than fix their destruction and build something on a sturdy foundation. So if we can fill the cracks and the holes of the lies people believe, the things they're trying to prove, the hate they're trying to overcome, and we can actually make them whole while winning, you're training that brain, that progress, that joy, that positivity, that health, that all those things that are actually necessary to deliver a great life, first happen on the inside, but they can happen simultaneously if you do the right work long enough.
So is this something you always wanted to do? Because I know you mentioned, oh, I wanted the house, but did you always want to be a speaker and be in business, or what?
No,
What
no,
really?
I wanted to be an astronaut, if we're going way
Really?
back, right? I actually studied science. I wanted to be a heart surgeon. I went to nursing school. I studied science. I taught science and health. I decided I wanted to have a family. So you know how that shifts our ideals. And when I got a divorce and I got sick, it shifted everything for me. For then life stopped becoming about what I could achieve or do. It became about survival and provision, for my kids. And so I jumped into where I could earn, where nobody would tell me my worth, where if I could work more hours than anyone, I could earn, and that was in sales. And I was the worst. I was horrendous. I was so bad. My mentorship and bosses were like, "This honey, this is not for you." And I was like, "Number one, don't call me honey, and you just pissed me off. So I'm about to show you what I can
That's
do."
right.
Right? And I was just a mama bear on a mission to not go hungry. It's kind of crazy. When I got divorced, my family, everybody, was very disappointed and left, and it was just me.
No.
And so, I don't judge them for that. I think it was a great gift for me. I had zero judgment to deal with every day about my decisions. It was just me versus me. And that's actually where I found out I was pretty damn amazing. And I
Ah, I
could
love
do
it.
things. And I think it took me to be taken away from that environment to realize what I could do on my own. And so I just became a student, and I went after the best friends in the world, the greatest humans at their craft. I didn't want to play with anybody who was kind of winning. I was like, I don't have time for you. I need to go to the big dogs, and just kind of networked my way into learning from some giants in the world who I really believe accelerated my path for me, you know.
So you believe in mentorship, hands down.
100%. The only way. I will never go without one. I don't think anyone should. It's like winning an Academy Award. There's nobody who gets to the winning podium and doesn't have anyone to thank.
And then
We
there are people who have mentors, but then sometimes you might have outgrown what the mentor could teach you, and they stay on. Is that something you experienced yourself?
Yeah, for sure. It's been funny. I've always just needed like at least one person in my life in every level, right? One course of adjustment that was needed. So sometimes they were business mentors, sometimes they were friend mentors, sometimes they were champion, professional athletes, sometimes they were completely out of my realm, but they needed to adjust something in my character. But there was always a need for somebody to be cheerleading where I needed to grow. And that's all it takes, one person. Never go without just one, but you'll outgrow them. You'll learn more. You'll see if you're mentored by somebody in the same industry as you, what'll happen is if you get really good, you start seeing that you become competition and the information changes. And that was a big lesson. I'm like, surely not. Sure, really? Is that was kind of a kick to me, wasn't it? And you'll learn these things, and those are all lessons of what people are made of. And I think it was a good eye-opener for me to keep my character on track as much as possible too.
Wow. You can become the competition of your mentors if you stay in the industry long enough. And that definitely makes for a complicated relationship.
It does. The right mentors will love you for it. The wrong ones will become resentful. And I think that's been a really cool thing for my message to be I choose joy, because I've been able to show them another side of competition.
See, that's what I want to get at. You sound like you've just always been able to turn. I mean, it's one thing to say you can turn around your perspective and go deep within and reprogram, but it sounds like there's a real practice for you in setting that up. Is it one of those things where you did it for so long that now it's easier to do it than to not do it in the middle of your day or the beginning of your day?
What a good question. I really think it's because I experienced the pain so bad on the other side of joy.
You're never gonna forget
Never,
that.
never. It almost killed me. It gave me cancer. Like
Oh
I'm like
wow.
a no go, like emotional. If people knew how bad emotional energy and pain could hurt them, man, they'd learn this practice immediately, right? People don't realize what it can do, but I've experienced some massive pain in my life, and there's no way. I've got too many people to help to have time, crying. I always tell people winning is faster than healing.
Wow.
People need to roll around in their pain for a while, and I'm like, why would you choose to do that? Who does that help? You know?
I like that you see it as like you pain is something that's it's gonna happen for the healing. It's gonna happen regardless. But you
Yep.
don't just sit around and wait for it to happen. You've got to stay busy and continue to develop and let that happen on
Right.
its own.
Right. Think about all the people. This is what I do. I think about all the people I
Danelle, you there? Uh-oh. Danelle? Hmm. Hello.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Hi.
you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. We can just no, 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 no. Trust me. Happens all the time. So we can pick up right from there. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
So like
They're digging at my neighbors. And I was like, oh no, did they just cut my lines?
I was just thinking the same thing because they're doing some cleaning here on the roof of the building, and I was like, "Oh no, what have they done?" Um, so, and then
Okay.
I tried to refresh a page out here to see if it was my internet, and then I was like, "Oh, I think it's just one of those things that happens. It happens. The world doesn't want you to share the power of your secrets of
Right?
transforming pain."
Yeah, right?
So
Uh,
where were we? So essentially, let's just back up here for a second and say, so I think I asked you, is it something that you're able to like it's easier for you to do now than to not do it in your day? That the kind of habit that you've built to
yeah.
change your perspective and to set your intention for the day, or because you hear people talk about that, but
Right.
you're living this, and you said that you could never forget the pain. I think is one thing you were talking about earlier when we were chatting. So
Yeah.
is that really where you sit at right now?
Yeah. I think when you experience so much pain or trauma and you understand how quickly the line can go from winning or dying, forward, or, I truly felt like I was dying while I was still alive when I allowed pain and hurt and trauma to just slow me down. And it kept me from every single human I needed to help. And so I started focusing on the eyes and the faces and the dreams of those people who I could help. And if I could pour myself into theirs, I stopped complaining about mine. And that's really what happened. When you realize how powerful your movement is, every single human individually, there's no time There's no time to sit around and just think about how miserable you are. I was talking with one of my friends today who's become a true legend, and we were talking about working out and our health during COVID and all of these things, right? And how I was like, I just stare at my Peloton and it's great at hanging my clothes. And she goes, "Are you complaining about your body?" And she goes, "Think about the woman who doesn't have arms." And I go,
Mm.
"Oh, thank you for the redirect." And it's like those perspective moments, but I think that's what joy has become for me. Um, don't complain about things you have the ability to change, just change them. Don't cry about what you've lost, help somebody else gain something. And if we can just all do more good, there's never a day where I did good that I felt bad. So I think that's just what I had to pour into.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it from what I'm getting, you almost didn't have a choice in the matter. It was sink or swim for you, and I think it shows that this path was for you. Now, as a speaker, with the way the world is turning, I mean, how have you decided to move forward with things? Are you writing another book?
Yeah.
What's the next step for you?
Yeah, it's incredible. I had so many online trainings and platforms that when everything happened, it was like my greatest gift. I'm like, I already live like this. Let's go. Let's see how many people can help. But I knew the world wasn't prepared. So it became how many people could I help? And I think for a long time, I shied away from telling my story. I just did a little bit to inspire people and then would train them. And during all of this, we actually put together an incredible, we're calling it like a movie premiere that tells how one day can truly change someone's life. And it's 24 hours of content on my story of becoming a millionaire and helping other people become millionaires. And I think it's probably the greatest project I've ever done because I had time to sit and go, what do people really need? Well, they need to know the real stuff that I didn't spend much time talking about because I hid it or covered it up or just kept moving. And those big lessons that made me who I am, the hard stuff, the untold stories, that I think could probably change more lives globally than ever. And so I stopped traveling so much and planted here, and we created the making of a millionaire. And I think it's going to speak to people like nothing I've ever done before. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds powerful. Now, do you often come across people who reach out to you and they're they've had some success in their lives, but they just can't seem to get to the next level? And uh, do you jump in right away and help them understand that it has to do with like self-image and like perspective of how they're seeing things, or do you take time
Yeah.
to diagnose what's going on with them first?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing I always have, I get people all the time, every single day, hundreds of messages, emails, Facebook messengers,
No
and
inbox zero for you.
right. No, never, ever again, probably. And it's a gift, but
Yeah.
I tell everybody it's the same rhythm. If you can do I choose joy for 90 days, if you can track your gratitude, your growth, and your goals for 90 days and force yourself in this rhythm to move forward, then I can help you from there, either online, as a group, one on one. There's different levels for every kind of a human, but you have to show me that you are willing to, in the midst of your struggle or challenge, create the rhythms that are going to help you move forward. And if you can do that, then I can help you. You're ready to hear it. Yeah.
Wow, I see what you're saying. It's profound because people have to choose internally first to get there before you can push them to that next level. But they have to
Right.
walk up to the plank first.
Yeah. And they've got to be invested in it. Right. If you, it's just like science. What I used to teach: an object in motion will stay in motion. An
Yes.
object at rest stays at rest. So if I can get them in motion and teach them to invest in myself, in the beginning, I know everybody was like, "Do you have discounts? You're very expensive. You're this, you're this, you're this." And I was like, "Well, did you want half my brain or all of it? Because I sure paid a lot to get it." And I was walking them through this journey, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just have to train them that they are worthy of investment. And when they're in, I'm in, it creates a win-win." And you have to help people be trained to that part, though. They don't know that abundance is for them until they've seen a picture of it. And 90 days of anything for any human that is different, that is focused, that is committed, will create change. That's my 100% belief because I've seen it over and over again. So I just help them start.
if the Millionaire Maker says it takes 90 days and that's what makes the big difference if you're committed and focused, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to listen to that. It makes a lot of sense to me. And especially knowing where you've come from. I mean, you've only shared a glimpse of what your life is like, but to know that the 90 days is really the magic number for you, and it's just that consistency and that focus, that did, if you could go back to your old self, your younger self, when you were going through that, knowing what you know now and who you are now, what would be something that you would say to yourself, the struggling
Yeah.
mom whose family decided, yeah, we can't believe this I mean, some of the most ludicrous experiences you were having, and yet you had to be the mama bear out there hustling and hearing from your mentors and people saying, you're not really good at this, are you? What would you say to that person right now?
Yeah, I 100% think, that I think we always think that it takes more than we are. And I would just remind myself, it takes all that you are, not more than you are, all that you are. And it's going to take everything you got, but you got it. Like, trust your instincts. It's inside of all of us. And how many times we have those thoughts, we just don't activate them right away. Right. I have a notepad by my bed because I'm always getting ideas. This idea of the release thing that has been in my brain for a year. And I was just like, oh, this is when, and I think so many people don't take note that they were given everything that they need. It's just about believing it, embracing it, developing it. I believe there are a lot of talented human beings out there who just doubt that it was supposed to be them. And I try and tell as many people as possible, I'm like, listen, if the dream's in there, like, God doesn't play jokes on people and say, hey, let's give Sally this amazing dream and watch her fail. Like, he gives dreams that are reality, and let it go the distance, man. Give it the worth that it is. And anybody who tells you it's not, well, they're not supposed to be there either.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you this. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you? I mean, I know people go to your website, this and that, but what way do you prefer for people to reach out to you and contact you?
I love Facebook. I know it's crazy and people think I'm nuts that I still answer all my messages. I mean, I got a team of people doing a lot of other things, but Facebook's where you see where people's strengths and weaknesses are, where their rants and glory is, and what they really want. And I can do an audit of someone and see what they're about pretty quickly. And so I like the real life, shoot me a message, we get back to you. And I'm old school. I love relationships.
No, that's a lost art in today's age. I mean, you jump on any like LinkedIn, and the first thing as soon as you connect with someone, they send you like a 8 page spam. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know how they think that works. Oh,
sure. It's like small talk does kill me. Like when people are like, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "What do you want?" Like, just
yeah,
be direct. Like, "Hey,
yeah,
listen, I heard you. I'd love to know more about this. Great, let's have a conversation."
exactly. But not the hi hello.
Right, right. Or, "Hey, I've got this cream for your face," and I'm like, "I've got something for your face too." Yeah.
Yes, I 100% share the sentiment. Wow, Danelle, this is awesome. I'm wondering like what's next for you? Seriously, I know you talked about where you're at right now, but are you thinking of writing another book? Because I know you live in this world. I mean, when this all happened, you were like, great.
Yeah.
How can I
Yeah.
help people? But is
Yeah.
it you preferring to focus on courses or is it books or is it both?
Yeah, I think I'll always do a little bit of that. My big goal, my big hairy audacious goal, right?
Yeah, there it is. That's what I wanted to
I
know.
I'd really, you know, love to produce, a talk show, a TV show that's more about business and personal development and some of those kinds of things, and entertain the greats. I mean, we have to move that towards where everybody is if we want to get it mainstream and help kids know about money and financials and politics and all those things that actually matter in the world that nobody knows about anymore. They care more about their TikTok videos. We got to get on mainstream. And for me, man, that's a goal that I'd love to do.
Okay, and you said you created like a documentary, docuseries, or like a video.
Yes, yes. So the making of a millionaire
Yes,
is,
making of a
is what's
millionaire.
up next. And you can find it on my website. Now it's releasing January 1st, 2021. And it's
That's what I wanted.
12-week series to really help you develop into the millionaire inside of you.
See, this is exactly where I wanted to go because the next question really does say it. So, and I imagine, uh, given that you want to create a show, and it seems almost superfluous at this point, but if there was anybody you could meet at this juncture in your life, having had the success you've had and the ability you have to help people, I imagine you meet all kinds of people. But business is business, and it's always referrals, and you never know who's listening. So, if there's somebody you would like to meet, is it by name or trade? Who would that be?
Yeah, for sure. Two greats probably pop into mind. Oprah obviously is
I was
everyone's
gonna
hero.
say. I was gonna say.
She's everyone's hero, and we've kind of danced around like mutual connections and things. But I feel I've, been refining who I was in preparation for that. So that's probably one. I feel like a mix between that and Ellen. I know there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the world
Yeah,
and people's opinions, but those two humans have done a lot in the world in a similar
absolutely.
format. So I'm like, give me a platform where I can get better and do more good. I'm in.
No, if no, when that happens, I will definitely subscribe to all the YouTube videos you'll be posting up, and I can see it happening. I get the energy, the same energy I see from them. I'm getting it from you, so I don't doubt that it's a possibility, especially given your ability to distort the reality that might be trying to come into your way and reshaping it into something that you can actually use. That mental malleability, I think, is something that I really admire in you that I hope to adopt myself after having had this conversation. It's something that I think I need to take with me from this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are incredible. Your energy too. Like, how have we not met yet? I'm so excited to follow and even listen a lot more and see what you're doing in the world and help in any
Uh,
way I can.
that's a huge compliment. Honestly, I've been working in the background mostly for a long time, but I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to meet amazing people like yourself and everyone that I've been interviewing lately. For me, it's not work. Honestly, I feel like more aligned with my purpose than ever before. So it's really interesting to have these conversations and watch what's happening in real time in my own life.
That is awesome. Isn't it great? I mean, I think life's supposed to be simpler and easier than we make it, right?
Yes, and
We're
and
supposed to say yes. We're supposed to go
And what
always.
was it that you said? I really like that you said you need to be focused on winning and not healing. Was that how did you say it?
I said winning's faster than healing.
Yes, winning is faster than healing. If the editor is listening, I think that should be the name of this episode. Just throwing it out there. Winning is faster than healing with Danelle Delgado. Danelle, thank you so much for stopping by and actually sharing some of your time. I personally wish we could have more. I say this almost with every episode because just as it's getting good, it's wrapped up. But honestly, I hope you don't mind. I'll stay in touch. I'll connect. And like I said, like I had asked, remember people who's listening. She wants to be connected on Facebook. It's probably it might seem a little funny, but that's how she gets down. So respect it.
Right. Thank you, Philip, so much for having me.
Thank
This
you.
is amazing.
Yes, awesome. Okay.